Every business runs on an invisible, highly structured engine known as employee relations. This is the formal relationship between employers and their staff, operating either individually or as a unified group. When that relationship functions smoothly, the results are highly tangible. A motivated workforce consistently hits targets, and when management needs to pivot or implement new strategies, employees are far more likely to adapt rather than resist. The architects of this baseline are the Human Resources Department. HR draws up the exact terms and conditions of employment, establishing rigid, clear procedures for handling staff grievances, initiating disciplinary action, and managing redundancies. This flowchart illustrates how HR sets up communication channels. Whether it's organizing a works council, placing an employee representative on the board, or handling collective bargaining with trade unions, the goal is to create a continuous loop of feedback where workers have a voice. Employees who feel consulted rarely escalate their complaints. The company gains a reputation for treating its staff well, which in turn attracts a higher caliber of job applicants. Maintaining workplace harmony is an absolute operational requirement. Without it, meeting long-term business objectives becomes impossible. But workers and managers operate from different vantage points, eventually developing different aims. When those aims collide, internal systems grind to a halt. Look at negotiation, the first formal method of addressing conflict. Employers and employees meet to hammer out a mutual agreement. But consultation operates differently. Management must ask for employee views, but is under zero obligation to actually act on them. If workers realize a consultation is entirely hollow, the remaining trust evaporates. The workforce becomes inflexible, and routine changes suddenly start stalling out. Failing to align management's goals with the immediate needs of workers allows minor internal disagreements to compound into systemic operational threats. When all internal dialogue fails, employees resort to industrial action. These are official, structured protest mechanisms used to force management's hand. The first tactic is working to rule. Employees do precisely what is in their contracts and nothing more, deliberately bottlenecking efficiency. Next is the overtime ban. Workers simply refuse any additional hours beyond their contracted minimum, paralyzing businesses that rely on flexible schedules. The conflict can escalate to a sit-in. Workers physically occupy their own workplace, completely blocking any production from occurring on the floor. Finally, there is the strike. This is the ultimate weapon, an absolute, coordinated, total withdrawal of labor by the workforce. This chart tracks the mutual damage. For employers, interrupted production immediately chokes off income, while bad publicity spikes reputational damage. Simultaneously, employees are entirely unpaid during the strike, putting their long-term jobs at severe risk. Both sides hemorrhage money and stability. It is a scenario of mutual destruction, and escaping it requires an external, neutral party. Enter ACAS, the Advisory, Conciliation, and Arbitration Service. This is an independent expert institution designed to step in and de-escalate disputes before the damage becomes permanent. Their first pillar is advisory. ACAS provides free information on employment rights and runs workshops to help organizations build effective workplaces, preventing disputes before they ever materialize. The second pillar is conciliation. ACAS acts as a mediator, helping both the employer and the employee understand the opposing perspective, so they can find common ground and voluntarily solve the complaint. Look at this diagram. When two sides remain deadlocked, ACAS moves to arbitration. They listen to the evidence from both factions and then put forward a completely independent, unbiased solution. If every avenue of negotiation and arbitration fails, the final legal backstop is an industrial tribunal. This is a specialized, less formal court that rules on cases like unfair dismissal, ensuring the employer strictly adhered to employment law. A business needs its internal HR policies to build the foundation of a motivated workforce, but when that machinery breaks down, external bodies like ACAS provide the critical safety net, pulling both management and employees back from the brink of mutual destruction.